The Black Sea, Putin's Achilles heel. Watch to the end to find out why. When Russia annexed Crimea in 2014 and then later invaded Ukraine in 2022, Vladimir Putin had a stock justification for doing so. He believed, or so he said, that NATO had been infringing on Russian borders, slowly inching its way in to close off Russia from the rest of the world. 2 years into the war, and it's clear that Russia is taking steps toward NATO. The Black Sea in particular is a major part of the Russian strategy. And by that token, it is also a paramount interest to NATO. The Black Sea is crucial for its trade routes, in particular the energy and gas pipelines. The European over-reliance on Russia for its energy needs raise a red flag in this instance, because a lot of gas pipelines move across the sea. Ever since the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia has been trying to edge itself into the greatest powers of the world. With the US dominance finally giving way to multipolar alliances, the Eastern giant thinks this is the best opportunity to pounce. To do that, they have to make geopolitical plays on various levels. For starters, they've strengthened their ties with China and Iran, two major players on the global stage. They also sold oil to India, an emerging global power that, despite sanctions, was happy to engage with the Russians. On the other hand, while Europeans are scrambling for alternative sources of oil and gas like Qatar, Putin has decided to break their autonomy in Africa. Among the recent Western missteps in Africa, Russian mercenary troops are waging proxy wars in the Sahel region to foster anti-European sentiment. Similarly, America is losing its reputation in the Middle East for writing blank checks to Israel, and the Russians are looking to disrupt the Western hierarchy there as well. Now, Putin is making a more direct play in the Black Sea. It also warned that any ships traveling to Ukrainian ports would be considered military targets. These actions were condemned across the board. Holding an entire region's naval traffic hostage is tantamount to piracy. Furthermore, important grain shipments have to reach different countries across the world, and Russia's insistence to block Ukrainian ports could increase humanitarian crises across the globe. The grain deal was responsible for the transport of 32.9 million tons of crops leaving Ukraine for other countries. However, now Russia is deliberately targeting Ukrainian grain shipments and other agricultural exports. The Russian missile attack on the Danube port city of Reni, very close to the Romanian border it should be added, is a good example. Both sides have also laid down mines in the sea, which further impact commercial shipping. Russia has also established warning areas, where it warns of repercussions for all that enter. One of these, in Bulgaria's economic zone, is increasing tensions. The Black Sea offers Russia a natural pathway into Western Balkans, South Caucasus, Eastern Mediterranean, and even the Middle East. This allows them to challenge the Western order on multiple fronts, while Russia attempts to provide an alternative in a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. Their advances in the Black Sea have had the opposite effect. Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey are already NATO members, but Georgia is also trying to get into the organization now. Instead of selling the world on the narrative of them being victims, the Russians are now coming across as full-fledged imperialists. Turkey is straddling an interesting dilemma here, but even they understand that cannot leave the Russian advance to the east unchecked. For instance, take the grain export agreements. Under a looming international food crisis, the UN and Turkey brokered a deal for the safe export of Ukrainian grain through the Black Sea. Over the 2 years of the conflict, this deal has seen its ups and downs. In mid-2023, Russia decided to completely back out of the agreement. But why the Black Sea? The thing is, Russia has been blocked out in the Baltic Sea after Finland and Sweden joined NATO, not to mention that Russia's northern and eastern ports are completely frozen in the winter. So, they've decided to double down on the Black Sea. It is their only major lifeline to the Mediterranean. Since the 2008 Russo-Georgian War, Russia controls 2/3 of the Georgian coastline. Putin has also annexed Crimea and is now looking to run past Ukraine, which previously served as a good buffer. Russia has also installed a pro-Russian regime in Transnistria, a breakaway region of Moldova. All this pressure from the Russians make Turkey's role increasingly important. They were instrumental in brokering the grain deals, and reports suggest that another one deal might be brokered in the coming months. On the other hand, Turkey has been careful not to anger its NATO allies. In fact, they have recently established a mine countermeasures task force with Bulgaria and Romania, its NATO allies, to rid the Black Sea of those dangerous minefields. This means that one of Russia's key allies in the region is playing both sides. Not a good look. But that's not all. What makes this worse for the Russians is that Ukraine has been fighting back in the Black Sea. The Western-supplied weapon systems, especially drones, have been key in pushing the Russian Black Sea fleet back. Ukraine has even pushed the Russian Navy back to establish a shipping corridor hugging the western shores of the Black Sea. The recent attacks have dealt a nasty blow to the Russian Navy's reputation. But guess what? That's not all either. Russia and NATO have come dangerously close to having all-out conflict in the Black Sea. Recently, Russian Navy boarded Sukru Okan, a Turkish cargo ship off the coast of Turkey. As NATO has iterated its charter terms, an attack on a NATO country would yield the wrath of the whole coalition. An escalation on that scale would have disastrous consequences for all parties involved. If there's any silver lining for Russia in this entire conflict, it's that the land invasion of Ukraine, despite running much longer, is still very much in its favor. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to support us, and let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. That's it for now, and we'll see you in the next one.